Well, that wasn't our song. Welcome into another episode of Outside Shots on this glorious early edition on a Monday. Oh man, somebody's got to go on a road trip, and so here I am at 8 o'clock in the morning, just trying to appease my friend, so he can make the flight, the team flight. So. We appreciate all you water boys and couch potatoes checking in. Brian Abdallah already started off strong, saying water boy and couch potato checking in here. Meatloaf saying start Oso, and we appreciate both you guys for joining. Bobby J just joined the chat as well, so appreciate y'all. Again, if you have a comment, please hit it, throw it up in the chat, and we'll talk about it if it makes sense. If it makes no sense, I'm sure EJ will call you out, so it'll be fun all the way around. EJ, how are you doing on this fine, lovely morning?
I'm doing well. Still a little disturbed. I told you. Everybody, I want you all to know that Saul was at the game the other night.
Oh, they know.
And,
they know.
Well, okay, but they didn't know what you did. So this guy, this rogue. Seriously, if you would think he would have any kind of decorum or any kind of chutzpah about him, no. He's straight hood. He's straight hood. And what drives me nuts is he walks around like he's so classy because he was in the service. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'm telling you, man, this dude had tickets up in the, good tickets. They were about 4 or 5 rows back, but they were in the lower section, right? I look up, this dude at the halftime, he on the floor. Like, this dude is, he is scoped out that somebody didn't show up, and he moved down to the floor, and he's sitting next to the opponent's bench. Like, if I had noticed that, I would have had security go move him. That's ridiculous. Seriously, that is one of the most rogue moves I've ever seen, man. I just would be embarrassed doing that,
Really, EJ? EJ, who grew up on the south side of Chicago and probably, didn't grow up the most rich kid in the world. You mean to tell me that you never went to a Bulls game and just, snuck yourself down to a better seat at any point in time?
I paid $1 for the seat, and I stayed in my $1 seat.
Come on.
I was being very respectful, but man, seriously, that was, really, didn't you have some shame in you that maybe somebody would show up and say you were in my seat, and then you would have to, because you in them $100,000 seats.
Oh,
the thing is, if you go sit in them $100,000 seats, you can't be down there with a warm up on. Like, you gotta have a tight something on, some tight Lululemons or a suit or something. You got a baseball cap on, which that's all right. Wear the bill, that's fine. But you saw EJ over there, didn't you? You saw me. You saw me. You saw me with the tight.
You ignore me and walk away from me. I saw that.
I didn't walk away from you. I had to go up and do the post game show. Some of us have to work, but I had a tight Italian suit on. If you're gonna sit down there, you got to sit down there with class.
Okay. All right. First of all, let me tell you something about me, EJ. I'm pretty good at networking, and I got the clearance to sit there courtside from Suns personnel, so I'm cool. Like, listen, I can't help it if 4 random people didn't show up to the game. And I asked specific people, hey, y'all gonna give me any problems if I go over here and sit? No, you're good, Book. There he is. There we go. I know my role, and I know how to get things done. So that's
notice how he said like the man knew his name. Really? Hey, go ahead, Book. Like the man knew your name. That's a security guard. That's my security.
EJ, you know I've been around the team for like a decade now.
That's my security down there. They respond to what I need, not what you need.
Oh my goodness. The vibes were pretty high I had a good time. I mean, I had a really good time. I also did a
You
double
look
dip
like
that
you was
day.
having a good time.
No, stop,
Little
DJ, with
inebriated.
that foolishness, because I was not drinking that heavily. I had a drink in the first
That
half,
heavily.
and then
That
that was it.
heavily.
And then
That
listen, I
heavily.
had to drive all the way down to Tucson, so I had to make sure I couldn't drink too much in the second half. And I got all the way down to Tucson and watched my Wildcats win that night too. I watched 2 basketball games that whole day. It was pretty dope. And both of them won. The Suns are on a roll now, winning 4 out of their last 5, 3 in a row. I ask you, EJ, are the Suns back?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not back yet. I think if you ask them, they'll say the same thing. They're not back because they're still doing some things that can cost them games. And they were fortunate last night. They gave us probably the best 4 minutes in crunch time, and and that's even counting when they got off to the 8-2 start in the first part of the season. It's probably the best 4 minutes they've given us all year, where everything flowed. They didn't make any mistakes. They made the right passes. They got the rebounds. They played great D. And look, you can't do that for 48 minutes. We know, but we'd like to see them do it for 36 minutes. And what we saw in those 4 minutes told me that they're capable of doing it. It's just they have to what focus up, connectivity between all 5 guys on the floor, and go get it done. And that's exactly what they did. Think about it. I mean, the pass that Devin threw to Oso, the timing on it was perfect, where you can get the dunk. Then KD over the top of 2 defenders. He finds Oso dunk. Like, those are huge, man. Like, we know KD one-on-one. If you get one-on-one coverage, he can score. That's simple, right? Devin, same thing. But just involving the other 2 role guys that were out there to end the game, won the game. Oso and O'Neal. So Royce O'Neal didn't shoot well, but hey, he had 2 big threes in the fourth and had some good defensive plays. So that's how they won the game, and we'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, no, I thought overall yesterday wasn't the prettiest game, obviously, and man, the way they got out rebounded was ridiculous, especially in that first half. I mean, I think
You mean
point,
Mark Shaq Williams?
whatever you want to call him, that guy, he was everywhere, and
He's massive. He just can't stay healthy. But this is why the Hornets lose, though. See, like, it's pretty obvious. If you couch potatoes and water boys should have seen this, right? Mark Williams had 2 points in the second half. He was dominating like Shaq out there in the first half. You would think that they would have kept running the same play, that they would have kind of focused on him because he was the reason they had the lead. LaMelo Ball might have thought he was the reason. Miles Bridges might have thought he was the reason, or a host of other guys. No, it was Mark Williams because he was just forcing the Suns to have to collapse on him, and he was dominating offensive rebounds and everything, and yet not a factor in the second half. So if you want to know why Charlotte can't win consistently, that's why. You stick with what's going well for you, man. You don't go away from it. You don't deviate it from it and try to guess that they're going to try to stop it, so you're going to go somewhere else. No, make them stop it first. And they didn't do it, and the Suns really were very thankful that they did not.
When you look at this entire performance in these last 4 out of 5, I mean, really, like, if they don't fall asleep against Charlotte the first time around, you're probably looking at a 5-game winning streak, which couldn't have come at a better time, to be honest with you. They're now 19-19. We know that since before Bradley Beal went to the bench, they were 14-18 and really struggling. Or I'm sorry, they were 15-18, really struggling, trying to figure out where they're going, and you knew that they had to string a lot of wins together in a short time because you only got about 50 of them left. And so as I'm watching this team and really on Saturday watching it in person, one of the things that I felt like, and again, EJ, you're right there on the court every single game, so you have a way better perspective than most of us because most of us are not like that. They can't hear everything that's going on the court. They don't see the reactions and the communication, but it just seemed like they really aren't like stressed or rattled or anything like that. They're just kind of still going through their process, and they're not panicking or anything like that. And I feel like, from what I could tell, the vibes are better. I think Bradley Beal and the way he has responded to going to the bench has been top notch. He's been as professional as you could expect. And I think he's been, I think a lot of people have given him credit for the way he has responded to that itself. And everybody's always talking about, oh man, this team, something must be wrong behind the scenes. These guys are, there's rumors of, internal conflict and all this other stuff. KD actually had this to say about the vibes behind the scenes.
I mean, the vibe's always been good to me. I mean, from the outside looking in, it's tough because we losing, but for the most part, I mean, everybody's coming in trying to figure stuff out, working hard, coming in here with energy, enthusiasm for the game of ball. And sometimes we just aren't better than our opponents that night. So I felt like tonight they kicked our ass on the boards to start the game, and I think we was able to swarm and all give multiple efforts on that end of the glass, the defensive glass. So it's a good finish for us.
I mean, hey, if everything's going smooth and guys understand the process, and you have some veterans that are leading this team. Now, I know the wins are coming right now, and they're 4 out of 5, but they haven't beat any of the top tier teams, and they'll get that opportunity here on this 5-game road trip. But it seems like the Suns are in a better place mentally than they were maybe just even a week ago.
The funny part is, again, this is people that, and some people even write about this, that have played the game, that have, but those are the ones that kind of shock me. Not the analytical nerds that write and they want to get on TV and talk about stuff and say it's problems in the locker room. What they don't know, and you think they should know because they go in the locker room after games, is that most good teams that I have been on, like, you wouldn't know if we got along or not, because we were always talking junk to each other. We were always, like, you can have confrontations in practice. It was a heavy competition amongst guys. But when you got on the court, you stay professional. It is no different than everyday life. I am sure a lot of the viewers that we have right now, it's some people at their job they don't like. They don't get along with. But they make it work. Why? Because it's your job. Like, you don't want to compromise your company. You don't want other people to see the issue. Like, I have never just liked every player on a team that I played on. Quite a few I couldn't freaking stand. And they knew it. But guess what? When the ball went up, I didn't take that attitude to the court. Like, it's always good to have some animosity, some enviousness, some aggression toward your teammate, because what it does is it promotes competition. Now, if you're going behind his back and you're spreading it and you're doing all that, that's a different animal. I don't see that with this team. I travel with them. I don't see that. I wish they would get more angry at one another. Really. I wish they would. I wish they would undress each other when things aren't going well and they're not playing well, and it kind of halfway embarrass them. That's the way it should be. Like, so people take, as soon as somebody's losing, they don't get along. And I heard the locker room is combustion. If you're losing, it should be combustion. That means guys care. Whether they might be right or wrong, they at least showing some energy toward, I don't like this losing, and you got to get better, man. What's up with you? Well, what's up with you? And have that dialogue and have that confrontation that makes you focus. What's the difference in a parent chastising their child if they do something wrong? So, you get these people, like, say, for instance, like back in my day, I don't know about you, Saul. My mother came to school one time, and I was yapping. In my little Richard Pryor soliloquy, talking about people, told this one girl, I said her mama was so bald headed, I can put up over there by the shade, lift the shade, let the sun shine on her head, I can see her brain. Man, that chick, man, she wanted to fight me. I mean, like, that's how we roll, One time my mom snuck in school, man, and I'm in there doing my little go at somebody. Man, next thing I know, man, I felt this slap right across my head. And then right after that, I'm up in front of the class, and she has a belt. And I'm in 6th grade, and she wearing me out. Okay? Now somebody can walk in the classroom and they can look and say, "Oh, she's so bad, and she is just out of control." Really? Look at me now.
Yeah,
I do anything. I do anything for my mom.
Oh, you could
My
not
mom's
do that
95 years old. 95 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, anything she needs. And it's always been that way. You know why? Because I understood. And it was between she and I. It wasn't between anybody else. And so people get caught up in that stuff, man. Yeah, the Suns should be better connected. I think more on the court. They're overly connected off the court. You see, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see some guys mad at each other.
Yeah.
And going at each other and then calling each other out. It makes you concentrate. If you have a healthy respect for the guy that's doing it, I say 8 out of 10 times you say something good to a teammate. That'll allow you to have 2 times of getting on them. And I don't see anything wrong with that. That was me as a player. I'm telling you, that was me. Yeah. And I'm not fighting. I didn't have one fight in my whole entire career plan. Almost, but never. But I tell you, people will tell you they wanted to hit me. Teammates will tell you they wanted to punch my lights out. Because I would undress them. I totally would get on their case in front of people. And I don't see anything wrong with it. So people need to calm down with that stuff.
I believe it. I mean, there's probably some times on this podcast where I'm like, I think that's a little too much. I know. That's just me. Listen,
I know when to back off. I can see that look on your face. And then I don't want to have to, because you're going to get tough and everything and want to come at me. And then I really got to embarrass you because I'm a black belt. I'm a black belt.
You're not a black belt. Stop.
I am a 5-degree black belt.
Did you just make that up?
Okay. I mean, the only way
EJ, you can't lie to the audience.
The only way you're going to know is try me.
Oh,
you
man.
See these hands, Saul? Do you see these hands?
Yeah, so?
Huh? Do you understand what these hands will do to you?
Listen, I don't want to know what those hands
do. You see how quick that was, Saul? Paul, did you see how quick that was? Did you see how quick that was?
Just stop. Oh, man. Listen, we're gonna talk about Oso Ighodaro and his role in the starting lineup and Bradley Beal here in a second after these messages. Whether or not you're going to buy or sell the Suns right now and their 4 out of 5 win streak, or their 3-game win streak, I should say, it doesn't matter. One of the things you can do is figure out if you're going to buy or sell and use Carol Royce Realty to do such a thing, especially if you're looking for that dream home or that lifetime home that you've always wanted to, your forever home is the way I was trying to say it. Carol Royce and her squad do fantastic work. They've got connections all over the valley. They know things that are coming on the market before they even come on the market. That's how connected they are here in the valley. If you are in this area, if you are even in Tucson, like, hey, Carol Royce Realty, they go statewide. They are one of the best real estate agents out there. Check her out by calling 480-776-5231 or visit carolroyce.com. Again, one of the best and most reputable real estate agents in the Valley. Her company is just fantastic. And again, if you're considering selling or buying a home in 2025, the name to trust is Carol Royce, your home sold guaranteed realty. Have questions, call today or visit Carol online at carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com. And obviously we've said it a million times. Circle K is the place to go if you want to get the very best in what your value, what your money, what your dollar can get you in terms of gas, snacks. Just the overall experience of going to a Circle K is fantastic. And right now, if you just download the Inner Circle app, you can save 25 cents a gallon your first 5 fill-ups. And then after that, you're going to save 3 to 5 cents per gallon no matter what. And then you get to take advantage of their fuel days, which is an additional, amount off as well. Sometimes 40 cents. We had it up to 60 cents a couple months ago, which is fantastic. And then they hook you up with 5 free beverages as well when you download the Inner Circle app. So you can't go wrong by going to circlek.com, hooking yourself up. And again, thirst, you're going to meet your match. Enjoy your member exclusive beverage deals at Inner Circle. Members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. All right, EJ, I have really, really liked seeing Oso in this lineup. It looks like, obviously Nurk has gone to the bench. He went to the bench with Bradley Beal. Now he's been ill the last couple days, according to Coach Mike Budenholzer, and he's not going to join the team on the road to start. So as the Suns are trying to figure this out, obviously Nurkic's name has come up in trade rumors as well. It's no secret that a lot of fans have been displeased with Jusuf Nurkic, but Oso has been the reason why there's been so much more pressure, I think, on Nurkic this year than before, because Oso has it feels like the team understands what his role is. He understands what his role is. He's playing, he's a very solid player. He's athletic. He's gifted. The whole 9 yards. He's been a nice add for this squad, and I was really impressed by his play yesterday as well.
Yeah, look, he's not a rookie anymore. You get to a point during the course of a season where you kind of eliminate the rookie title. So for he and Ryan Dunn, they're not rookies anymore. They're not veterans yet either. They're kind of floating in that between. But you see the growth, right? But you also still see some of the mistakes and some of the deceleration in their game. And the deceleration comes about because, should I do this? Should I make this move? I got KD to my left. I got Devin to my right. Can I just break the play and go for it? Can I just take this guy? Well, about time you go through that thought process, it's too late. Basketball is instinctive. And so you just can't have that attitude. You got to be, even before you catch the ball, know what you're going to do. They just try to decide what they're going to do with the ball when they catch it. Does that make sense, people out there? Let me say it again. This is what makes tremendous basketball players. The great ones and the really good ones, they've already decided what they're going to do with the ball before they catch it. They've already surveyed the area. They've already seen how it's going to be played. And they already have in their mind what they can do. And they can go to their A, B, and C move just like that. That's the difference right now. Those two guys are growing to that point. Case in point with Oso. How many times you see him catch the ball in the paint, 2 feet, and he's thinking pass? Mm-hmm. Sometimes when the ball is coming to you, the first thing you should be thinking about is score. And then everything else evolves off of what? The reaction of the defense. So when you're in your range, when you're in an area where you know that it's okay for you to take the shot, when the ball, before it gets to you, should be to score. Now, once you see you can't score, reaction of the defense, now you got to pass. Or maybe you got to dribble to get to the spot where you can score. Then you have a pass. Unless you've already seen and experienced that they're going to run at you. Okay, Now you got Royce over there in the corner. You got Brad out there. Your reaction is, okay, as soon as I catch it, they've been coming at me. Boom, I'm going to get rid of it. It's that part that is going to be slow growth for them. Ryan has gotten a little bit better just in one game. You can't keep getting in foul trouble. You're not going to stop great offensive players. So you can't challenge everything from them. Every given moment you're guarding them. They don't get you in foul trouble, as Trae Young did last game, right? Yeah. Game before last. So last night with LaMelo Ball, he played it differently. Yeah, LaMelo hit some shots, but Ryan wasn't over exuberant to go try to block his shot. Those shots that LaMelo Ball's taking, man, look, ultimately they're bad shots. He didn't make them damn shots in the second half like that. If he's going to take 28-foot jumpers, you put a hand up and that's it. If it goes in, hey, man, there's nothing I can do. And so I think he's got to get to that. And both of those guys are, and that's why they're being successful in the starting lineup.
Yeah, no, they've definitely been successful, and I don't know. You think at some point Oso will end up getting a majority of the starting minutes, and even be maybe the permanent starter, because him and Mason has been primarily the one that's replaced Nurkic in the starting lineup.
Yeah, well, I think again, yeah, if he keeps improving like he is, yeah, I foresee him eventually as not just a center, it's just. But he's got to get to a point where, and he's got to learn how to shoot.
He's got to.
And because he got to understand something. He's leaving money on the table. I mean, he should be, and I'm sure he's in the gym. Those guys in the gym every day. But he's got to really concentrate on having confidence in taking a jump. And just, people in the past, Karl Malone didn't shoot jumpers first couple of years. Charles didn't shoot jumpers, Barkley, but they turned out to be two of the best mid-range shooters at their position in the league, right? Mari Stoudemire, he didn't take jumpers early in his career, but he turned out to be one of the best pick and pop power forwards we've seen. So you can improve it and you can change it and get better at it. He's got to get better at it. Yeah. Ryan, on the other hand, just has to learn to be more aggressive. He has a good handle. He can beat people off the dribble, simple dribble, not fancy dribbling. But once he gets a foot past you, he's at the hoop. That's a high percentage easy shot. And he has to keep putting himself in position to be able to catch it and go ahead and do it. Because now they're worried he can make a three, so they run out at him, and that allows him to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. So those areas are going to keep improving. And from the center position, Plumlee has to play, obviously, now because of, Nurk and his, sickness and all of that and being relegated to the bench. But he has to get better. Yeah. He passed up 2 layups last night, and then he missed 1 because you know why? It's exactly what I was saying. So he thought about passing it before he shot it. And it's too late then, man. It's just too late. The defender is there. Now it's a contested shot, and you missed it. And the crowd, because they saw in slow motion when you initially called it, all you had to do was turn and dunk it, right? But he didn't see that. He just saw hesitation, okay. And all of a sudden, so yeah, that part has to improve, man, because if those guys can learn to score inside like Mark Williams and Nick Richards did last night against us over the last 2 games, that's all you need. You don't need anything else.
It's funny you mentioned Nick Richards, so we'll get into that. Obviously there was a report out there that the Suns are interested in trading Jusuf Nurkic in a second-round pick for Nick Richards and maybe some other assets. There's this tweet right here by I think it was Hoops Talk. That was a report, obviously, off of Evan Sidery. Phoenix and Charlotte have had preliminary trade discussions on a trade, sending Jusuf Nurkic in second round picks to the Hornets for Nick Richards via Sidery. That's and then to which our own Gerald Bourguet kind of squashed that, said it wasn't imminent, that nothing is Like obviously the Suns are interested in pieces that are going to improve their product, but that this was not something that was going to happen today, tomorrow, sometime soon, right? Obviously the trade deadline is looming. It's here in about 3 weeks, but the Suns right now, we all know they need to improve their team. They're going to try and figure out any way they can to improve their team. That's not a secret. That's every team in the league right now is trying to do that. Like you always want to take advantage of these situations, but the Suns have limitations that some other teams just don't. And that second apron is really one of those limitations. So you can only do so much in terms of swapping players for players. So I'm interested to see what is going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. I would say Nick Richards on this squad. I know a lot of people are excited about that potential possibility and really the efficiency at the rim. But I also think that as Suns fans, we tend to glorify guys a little too much before we actually see them on a day-to-day basis. And while I think Nick Richards will have, if he does get here, I do think that would be an improvement. I don't know if it'll be an improvement to the degree where all of a sudden now we're like right back in championship contention. I think it's one of those things where I still think you need another piece that is going to maybe either replace something that you don't feel like is as efficient enough, or just takes you to another level in order to get the Suns back to where we all thought that they might be before the season starts. Would you agree with that, EJ?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world where everybody thinks the next thing is better, right? And I don't know why they would think that way, especially like the younger generation now. Because they got them date naps out there. Hey, look at the date nap, and they, she looks good. She looks good, better than the one I got. Oh yeah, and you find out she's a crazy animal. Okay, and vice versa. Like sometimes just seeing something, and just because what you have is not making you happy, doesn't mean that person or that situation is better than the one that you're in, or you're going to make it better. And I think that's what happens in sports in general. When they start hearing about trades, they'll just remember the best of that guy. Like, that's the best of that guy. Like, I am sure people in Dallas, right? And Clay is, he's been, he hasn't been as consistent as he normally was in his career, but he's older. He's had injuries, right? But the Clay that everybody remembers in Dallas is not the Clay that everybody experienced in Golden State.
No.
See, so you have to be careful. Like, so in saying that, yes, the young kid, Nick Richards, he's a big man and he's very effective in the paint. He's aggressive. He can rebound. Yeah, he can do all that. But isn't that some of the stuff that people thought about when Nurkic was rumored to come to the Suns? Like,
I don't know about the athleticism.
No. I'm not saying athleticism.
Okay.
I'm saying, I'm talking about identical. I'm talking about the good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
He can rebound, right? He's a good passer. All those things. So my point is, they didn't see the indecision at the rim. They obviously blocked that out, right? They didn't see that the toughness and finishing.
Yeah. Like,
kind of awkward when he's making his moves. They didn't see any of that. They only remember the good stuff. And that's what scouts are for. That's what people that have been around it, not to get too excited, not to get too down on something, and understand that whoever you get in the trade, they're going to have their blemishes, but do they fit with what you need, right? And I think that's the point that, the Suns will be looking at, right? Can we find somebody that can finish at the rim better when we give them that opportunity that will take pressure off of our perimeter guys? So there's a number of players out there that can do that. So not just, Nick Richards, but it's a lot of players. And so trade deadline is coming up, and I'm sure the Suns are talking with multiple teams. Yeah. The word just got out on Nick, but I'm sure they're talking to multiple teams to see if they could get something done to improve the team. And you should always try to improve your team. It's not a
Absolutely.
negative on Nurk. It's just you always going to try to improve your team. And guess what? You got your contract. I've always told people when they say, "What's the best place you ever played, Eddie?" I said, "All of them." Then they like, "Why?" They paid me. I said, when I got to the league, I didn't care who I played for. I'm a kid out of Chicago, Illinois, hoping I can make the NBA. And I knew right that time it was 23 teams. And you know what? Whoever I can play for, I'm good. And if they trade me, guess what? That means the other team wants me. And I moved on. That's why I had a success at every team that I got that moved to. Every team. I had success because I was happy to be working. And I think that's the mentality everybody should take. So Nurk will be fine. He's been mentioned and stuff. Everybody has. Only a few people in the history of this game have not been mentioned in being moved. Okay? So there you go.
At one point in time, the trade machine rumors are always going to come for you. It's just that's the nature of the beast in professional sports. That's just what's going to happen. Doesn't matter who you are. And EJ, you got a couple comments. One, Killer Rex is on you right now. He says Eddie is Nurkic's #1 fan, and also there are zero good things about Nurkic. How do you say these things when you literally are floor level watching this guy? Killer Rex, I don't know about you, but at least from my interpretation, listening to Eddie, I didn't feel like he was saying anything about Nurkic in terms of glorifying him. He was just talking about the expectations of Nurkic and the way we view other teams' players in terms of the best that they have to offer versus what we actually get. And that was his point. Am I wrong on that, Eddie?
No, you're not wrong. And again, what's his name?
Killer Rex.
Killer Rex.
Big fan of the program, by the way. We do appreciate you watching Killer Rex.
Oh, don't try to protect him. He in my domain right now. Look, Killer Rex. You're gonna have a name called Killer Rex, but you didn't comprehend nothing I said. You know why, Killer Rex? Because you made up your mind what you wanted to say, and that's disturbing to me. See, I used to have a coach, Dick Nagy, passed away a number of years ago, University of Illinois. First encounter with Dick Nagy. You know what he told me? And I was the star of the team. And he had took over practice one day. Lou Henson wasn't there. And I felt that was his time, I guess, to show everybody how tough he was. But it made sense to me. He was talking to me. And at that time, I was still halfway shy a little bit. I'd give you some eye contact, and sometimes I wouldn't. And I wasn't giving him eye contact when he was talking to me. And he said, hey, give me your eyes. Give me your eyes. It kind of shocked me, but I understood what he meant. He kind of stiffened up when he said it. He meant before you talk or before you react, listen to what I'm saying first. Killer Rex. You didn't listen. I wasn't protecting Nurkic. I just gave you a laid out scenario how you can develop your own interpretation of Nurkic. I wanted you to use your killer mind.
Good job, Eddie. There you go, Killer. You got the shout out by EJ. Also, I do want to say I do want to shout out somebody else in the chat. Tomas Sanchez. Hello from Navarre. Love your show. You guys bring it all the time. But one thing, how come KD always runs back instead of going for the loose balls in front of him? Take care, my friends. Also, Navarre. That's Navarre, Florida, because I don't know any other Navarre. Shout out to that because that's right by Eglin Air Force Base, and I used to be stationed right there at Herbert Field, which is just 8 miles away from there. So, Northwest Florida in the house today. So appreciate you.
What did you do on the base? What did you do?
I was an aerospace ground equipment apprentice, so I fixed all the light carts, air conditioners, heaters, generators on the flight line.
That's a heck of a title you had. I bet. Did you have that on the card? Did you have that on the card? Try to impress people.
Air Force Special Operations Command, Herbert Field Air Force Base. Shout out Fort Walton Beach, Florida. There you go.
Wow.
So some of us did some real work in our lives there, EJ.
I used to work construction, dude. Are you crazy? I worked every day of my life. Every day. I've worked since I've been 14 years old. Every day. I used to drive a tractor on a football field at 14 years old. I taught resume classes. I have been, education is huge for me. You always have to improve your education. People might not understand that, but that's EJ. So I dare you say I don't understand what that means.
We're going to talk about Bradley Beal here in a second, but after these quick messages. All right, Colt Cannabis, folks. If you haven't had a chance to partake in one of the best flowers out there, Colt Cannabis is the spot to go to. Listen, Colt Cannabis and True Leaf have hooked up to give you some fantastic deals. Our friends at Colt Cannabis are now available at your local True Leaf with a huge variety of premium flower, some of the best you will ever partake in. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And a True Leaf exclusive, Magic Marker. The Valley has been asking for her, and now she's back. Magic Marker is the strain of the flower, EJ, just in case you weren't aware of how this works. Visit trueleaf.com to find the local shop near you or place an order and tell them PHNX sent you. Great flower is hard to find these days. Luckily, our friends at Colt Cannabis have been dropping absolute fire here at our PHNX studios and now at your local True Leaf, and that includes Magic Marker. So get over to trueleaf.com to find your local shop or place an order and tell them PHNX sent you, and they will hook you up. They also got some great deals on Thursdays, by the way, if you want to partake in the flower. It is great. Colt Cannabis, I've been to their facility. I had no idea how intense growing flower is, and it is, man, the science behind it, the technicality of every little detail, it's truly remarkable, and our friends over at Colt Cannabis do it the best. And also, listen, I don't know about you guys, but ever since we've gotten Branded Bills on board, I feel like I see Branded Bills hats everywhere. This weekend at the Suns game, I saw dozens of hats that were Branded Bills. Down at U of A, same thing. Everybody's wearing the merch. It's some of the best merch you can possibly get, best hats you can possibly get. EJ's wearing their turquoise flag edition state of Arizona hat, which is again, it's just so great. They do a tremendous job. Brandedbills.com is the place to go if you're trying to find the best hats, apparel. They got hoodies, they got shirts, they got all different types of stuff you can partake in. And if you have a business and you're looking for somebody to create some type of a look for you with your brand included, we've done that here at PHNX. We have Phoenixes in a hat. We have a pennant hat and a lot of different other styles. You can take advantage of Branded Bills by saving 20% by using promo code PHNX at brandedbills.com. You got to take advantage of it because it is fantastic. Branded Bills, the best apparel in the game. They are made here in Arizona. It is locally owned and operated out of Mesa. Again, support local, support one of the up and coming brands in the country by far. It is not going to surprise me if Branded Bills ends up being on that top tier level of just brand recognition because of their style, their logo, and their look. It's just fantastic. You can't go wrong with Branded Bills. So, all right, folks. Bradley Beal has gone to the bench. I thought, again, I mentioned earlier, I thought that the way he has approached this has been as professional. You wouldn't expect anything less from Bradley Beal because he is class. Like, whether you like him or not, or you just don't like what he's done for your team or not, is irrelevant. The guy himself is pure class, and he always has been. He's been a good dude his entire career, and a lot of people were clamoring for this to happen. And I don't know if it's really made that big of a difference, in my opinion. We'll find out when we play the top tier teams here soon. But in the short term, they've won 4 out of 5. So on the surface, it looks like, the operation has been a success. But there's a lot more to it than just that, because obviously he's still playing the same amount of minutes. He's just not starting the game. And that's it. That's really the only difference.
I mean, you must have been a starter your whole career or something.
No, I actually like coming off the bench too myself.
Okay, well, I disagree with your statement. I don't disagree with you much, but no, it's been a tremendous move. I said before the season, when people were suggesting it, I said you just can't automatically tell a guy that's been starting his entire life that he's coming off the bench. You got to see if it doesn't work or not, right? And so that's why he had to start. The biggest mistake Mike Budenholzer would have made is if he immediately tried to put Bradley Beal on the bench to start the season, because Bradley Beal would not have seen why he should go to the bench. And so because he would not have been able to see it because he immediately did it, he probably could have had an attitude. He probably would have been unhappy. And he probably would have struggled because his mind wasn't there. So sometimes you have to put people in a situation for them to fail, and then they'll be okay when you reach out to them to try to say, look, man, this might be the better way. I'm going to use my son, Justin. Okay, I'm going to call him out. All right. He watches.
Hey, no. We're not calling him out. We're calling him up.
Well, whatever it is. He's 30. He's 35 years old now, so I think he's calling him out. He's like, Dad, why you got to go back? He always thought that he already had everything figured out. Okay, so he got to a point of his life and his age. Okay, that any advice that I would give him, he pushed back. He had a better route to do it. Right? No, Dad, I don't have to do all that. I don't have to do that. Okay. So I get him his first vehicle, nice SUV, right? In the garage, looking good. Nobody's touched it, nothing. Waiting for him to turn 16 so he can go get his license. I say, hey, are you studying for the test? Are you studying for the written test? Not as easy as you think. Oh, I got it. I mean, I talked to some people. They say, look, I just need to know this and that. I'm good. I'm good. I got it. I said, okay. I said, all right, when we go out now and we go driving, I'm telling you, the three-point turn, okay, that can fail you. I'm telling you, if you touch a cone, you're done. I said, so you're going to have to do that. Probably not parallel park, because they don't have much of that here in Arizona. But the three-point turn, you're going to have to do. First time he goes to take it, he goes in, and I'm just sitting there. I already know. He comes out about a half hour later. Let's go. I'm like, what do you mean, let's go? I failed. So the next time he passed the test, but I had warned him. Matter of fact, I let him drive my mom's little Jeep so he wouldn't make the mistake. I said, I'm telling you, look in the rearview mirror, pay attention, because that dude is in the car to fail you. That's his whole thing. He's going, his mindset is to fail you. Taps the cone, fails. See, so that's, people sometimes they think they know everything, and you have to be patient, right? You have to let them go through it to find their success, right? So he's turned out to be a very good cognitive driver now, right? He tries to listen instead of push back now. He's still rough on the edges, but still, right? If he had done that to Bradley Beal, automatically told him he could not help this team win as a starter, you know how damaging that would have been?
Yeah.
You got to let him go through it. Trust me, I went that route. Like, so once he saw the struggles and everything, and they said, okay, we're going to bring you off, Brad couldn't really 100% push back on it. He could have a little bit because he's shooting close to 49% field. He's shooting close to 40 from three. He's like, that it's not my fault. But it is sort of kind of, because the guy that's struggling is not you per se, it's Devin. Ever since Brad's gone to the bench, what has Devin done? He looks like Devin.
Especially the last
he
two
looks
games.
like Devin again, right?
Yeah.
And it's because he and KD are getting a bulk of the shots to start the game. So you say he's getting starters minutes, but what it's doing is, if you think about it, they're not on the floor together for 33 minutes. Now it's changed. Brad comes in, Devin goes out. Like, it's a rotation now to always have two of them on the floor instead of all three until it's winning time in the fourth quarter. So it has worked. Bradley's scoring. Look at our bench. We had 47 points yesterday off the bench. We weren't doing that. So it's worked to a high level, and it's going to get better. And so I just hope that Brad is okay with it and just dealing with it, because it's not going to change. There's no way. Won 3 in a row, won 4 out of 5 with him coming off the bench. It's not going to change. And I think he has to know that and just keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he can't win 6-man because he started too late. But, man, this dude would win multiple 6-men and play a much longer career and maybe not be as injured as he is as a starter. It's a weird dynamic, but I am telling you, it works out that way. And so I'm happy for him. I really am. And I respect him a lot that he's embraced it. And he's really looking good at being, 6-man, 6-man club. That's what we call it. I'm the coach of the 6-man club. I'm right up there. Me, John Havlicek, Benny Johnson, yeah, that's us. We up there. We got Lou Williams up there. We got that's 6-man. You got Jamal Crawford. See, those are the guys, man. That's like if they put a board together, that's who they have in the room. Brad gonna be right there if he continues what he's doing.
I mean, you're onto something for sure. Listen, if you go back and you think about some of the teams that have had stars come off the bench.
Leave out my boy Ricky Pierce.
Some of the stars come off the bench. If you think about the San Antonio Spurs, right? That's kind of
strength. Can't leave him out. Go ahead.
I got you, EJ. We got your 6
I know.
Go ahead. If you go back to the Spurs, for instance, Ginobili came off the bench, and it gave the other guys an opportunity to be able to develop and score off the bat, and then bring him in to kind of help carry the load as they went through their rotations and stuff like that. And so I think there is a model, but there's a comment which is kind of apt. Let's be real. How bad would it be if we finally started vibing as a team with Brad coming off the bench and string some more wins together, only to see Brad get moved? And then obviously there has been more reports. This tweet earlier in the week in regards to Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal. Jimmy Butler basically saying, this is straight off of Mark Stein. Phoenix wants Butler and Butler wants Phoenix. I've heard they want him bad. And one league source says that of the Suns, but the obstacles preventing such a swap continue to be considerable. Before Bradley Beal's obsessively discussed no trade clause can even come into play, Miami and Phoenix need a third team willing to absorb Beal's monster contract to emerge. And, obviously Jimmy Butler is basically all but said that Phoenix is the only destination, if you believe a lot of the sources. And listen, 1 source, 2 source, cool, 3, 4, 5, it starts to become a theme. And I feel like, obviously Jimmy Butler is determined to get to Phoenix somehow, some way. So that would be kind of unfortunate if you started to reel off all these wins and maybe you won 9 out of 10 or 12 out of 14, and then all of a sudden you make that move, and then it feels like you would have to start all over again. But in the long term, if you're looking at the bigger picture, you're trying to win a championship. Would that give you the best opportunity to do so? I don't know. But I do know this. There will be a move made at some point. I would be baffled if something wasn't done before the trade deadline. I do believe that this team is going to try to do everything they can. I've heard things all over the place. I've heard Milwaukee might be interested because they might be looking to move off of Chris Middleton. I've heard, just a ton of different aspects where a third team can get involved. So, but I just don't know. I think it's too complicated to get Jimmy Butler in the Suns uniform because of Bradley Beal's massive contract and the no trade clause. It's going to have to be the right situation for Brad to even bite on it. And is he that unhappy to go to the bench to move out of the valley and go somewhere else and uproot? I don't know. I don't believe so, but I could be wrong.
Well, again, players change every day. Emotions change. People can talk them into a good situation. The team that they're going to possibly can talk them into a positive, mindset. You just don't know. But this stuff goes on every day. I'm like the part of a general manager. I would like to think I would just, I would speak for myself if I was in that situation. I'd be on the phone every day trying to make my team better. That's my job description. Like a player's job description is to what? Go out there and play for 82 games. Be ready to play. Be ready to go out there and perform 82 times a year plus playoffs. A GM's job description is not to be sitting around relaxed and feeling good about yourself and think your team is all that. It's every day trying to make your team better. Every freaking day. Going to sleep before you sleep, wondering, if I move this guy and get this guy, will we be better? Because the ultimate goal is to win the title. And that's what his job is, not to be settled. So in saying that, yeah, people, I would like to think the Suns are always discussing making the team better, as every team in the league is. That's their job. So I'm not shocked by it. I'm not moved by it. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not, whatever. It happens, it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. And then we'll judge it when it happens, right? Because it's not just going to be one decision behind it. It's going to be a multiple of guys that agree with making that decision. And when they do, I'll have judgment on it. But until now, nothing. Jimmy Butler's a tremendous player. Bradley Beal's a tremendous player. They all have different sets of mindsets on how they play. Okay, that's what happens. That's just the way it is. I got traded from the Suns for Xavier McDaniel because they thought, the Suns did, that they needed to get more physical. Okay? And I think X wound up maybe averaging maybe three rebounds more than me, but way less points.
Yeah, that wasn't a good fit.
And they moved on from him the next year. So, you just don't know. And I helped the Sonics get to the conference finals. So you just don't know. And I think that's the roll of the dice that you take.
It is the roll of the dice that you take. We do appreciate you all taking a roll of the dice and joining us this morning at 8 o'clock. I know it was hella early, but we do appreciate
it. Ain't early. Get up.
It's early for a lot of people. It's early for a lot of people, EJ. It's just not early for you
because
you wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm up at 6 o'clock, man.
That's how old.
I just want to get me a new bike, so I'm gonna be up early in the morning riding my bike.
I saw
you saw my bike.
That's
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Yeah,
that's nice bike, man. I
might have to join you.
I had a Trek before. I still have it. It's outside. But I had it since the early 2000s. I've taken care of my bike, and I love bike riding, man. So I can't wait. I can't wait to go get on my bike when I get back.
I've been on this Peloton for the last couple weeks, and
Peloton is cool. I do the Peloton.
It was pretty dope. It's been pretty dope, and I've lost 25 pounds in the last 6 months, which has been pretty cool. So feeling
really
svelte.
I haven't noticed.
Of course you don't notice because you're just a hater. We do appreciate you all for joining us today on Outside Shots. Make sure you download Outside Shots. It is its own independent podcast.
Yeah.
You can download it, leave a review, subscribe to it on Spotify, Apple, whatever platform you like to listen to. Make sure you follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns.
Yes, I'm not on my show today.
You're off because you're traveling.
I'm off, but Sirius NBA Radio, I'll be on tomorrow. Check it out.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so, you can make sure you follow him on Sirius NBA Radio, and make sure you follow PHNX Suns today. They'll have some more on the trades and all that good stuff. For Shane,
go check out my golf app too, man. Combat Golf. You all see it on Instagram. Combat Golf.
There you go.
Golf networking app. Go check it out.
Until next time, folks. We love y'all. Peace.